So they deregulated Wall Street, which is one of the reasons why it crashed. They cut taxes for the top 2%, which went from 58%. The top 2%, before they cut all those taxes, they own 58% of the wealth of this country, which is ridiculous as it is. But when they cut those taxes for them, they are up to 75% of the United States wealth. Top 2%. So let's say we got 100 motherfuckers. The top 2 earners, they own more wealth than 98% of the rest of them. They own more wealth than 98 of them. These 2 motherfuckers, I said 98, actually 75, sorry. 2 out of 100 have more wealth than 75% of the whole country. Which is ridiculous. That's third world shit. Sorry about that, it was a mistake. They cut, like I said, they cut taxes for the richest Americans. They deregulated Wall Street. They deregulated worker safety. And you say, well, what's that? People can, they referee themselves. Like I said before, you ever played in a pickup game? Motherfuckers like, hey, travel, yeah, you travel, no, you need a referee in there. They deregulated worker safety. And what does that mean? The mines, you remember the mines crashing? It's why? Because there's no regulation. There's nobody in there saying, wait a minute, are we checking this to make sure it's safe for the workers? Are we checking that to make sure it's safe for the workers? No, because we sent the referees home and we let them police themselves. They deregulated environmental safety, which is the same thing. They took all the regulations out of the oil industry. And guess what happened there? The oil spill. Why? Because there's no regulation in there to say, wait a minute, we need to check this every 3 to 5 years. We need to check this and make sure that's working properly. We need to test this. We need to test that. No! You sent the referees home, remember? You deregulated the business. You deregulated environmental safety. You deregulated worker safety. You deregulated Wall Street. So the banks are going obese and crazy. There's no referees in the joint. There's no referees for worker safety. And there's no referees for environmental safety. And now we have mine disasters, oil spills left and right. And let me tell you something. The Event Horizon, I always get that confused with the fucking movie. But that was the name of the rig that blew and caused this latest oil spill. I'm reading reports that there are worse situations. Anyway, we gotta move on. Like I said before, ask the fucking Republicans. Ask them. If your policies were so fucking great, why are we in such a terrible why are we in such terrible shape now? And it's, well, they ask, well, Obama's had 18 months. He's had 18 months and nothing. It takes more than 18 months to just fix 8 years of total disaster policies. Total disasters. The cutting taxes, the cutting regulation. It costs us jobs. It drives up deficits. The tax cuts, the wars, the drug companies, the bailouts, the Medicare privatization. And we all hate taxes. We hate them. But how are you going to run the country if you're not getting any income? These taxes fund everything that you Republicans love to do. You love to go to war. How are you funding it? Now, tax cuts, you're taking away money for it. After all that we said, the Republicans did, the deregulation, the tax cuts, the deficits, and the debts, after all that I just said, the GOP is against unemployment benefits extension. How do you like that? Not only do they want to add $3.5 trillion to the fucking deficit, with tax cuts, extensions, and more tax cuts. They don't want unemployment benefits for hardworking Americans. Unemployed Americans that have been fired or wrongfully discharged or laid off. And you gotta remember, when we talk about unemployed benefits, people, unemployed benefits, they go to people that have been wronged, like I just said, laid off, or somebody was fired because of a medical condition, or somebody was fired for something that wasn't their fault. You people on the pub side just act like, oh, they're just quitting and then getting a... No! You don't get unemployment for fucking around. You get unemployment if you were fired for something that wasn't your fault, if you were laid off, if you were injured, and then you get unemployment. There's rules to this shit. There's rules. You just don't fucking, oh, okay, I quit and get unemployment. Not only that, they go off of years of unemployment. So, you gotta make sure you understand that. Unemployment benefits is insurance, and people pay into that. And if you do get laid off, or you do get fired, that wasn't your fault. You get unemployment if it's approved, which it doesn't get approved all the time. When the economy is bad, unemployment benefits is good. It is said, again, the Congressional Budget Office has said, every $1 spent on unemployment creates $1.60 in economic activity. They want to argue against spending, but why do they spend surpluses? And they create deficits. The unemployment extension was $30 billion. That's what it cost. It extends, to extend the tax cuts, like it's $3.28 trillion. To extend the tax cuts is at least $3.28. All these are estimations. $30 billion, $3.28 trillion. $30 billion, $3.28 trillion. So you're telling me the tax cuts that will cost the country $3.2 trillion, you're not going to make us think about that. You're going to make us think about unemployed Americans that are unemployed not by any fault of their own. $30 billion. $30 billion. Yeah, we're going to attack the $30 billion because $3.2 trillion? Who gives a shit about that? Because the top 2% must have it all. Tax cuts cost every dollar is 32 cents you get back. So what's that? 68 cents. You lose every dollar. Every dollar spent on a tax cut, you lose 68 cents. A dollar spent on unemployment is $1.60. Now, of course, you don't have unemployment extensions and all this if the economy is going smoothly. If the economy is going smoothly, you don't keep going that way. But if it's bad, you got to keep it going somehow. Now, here's a jobs bill, some more hypocrisy by the pubs. Here's what was in this jobs bill that was just passed. Small Business Administration funding, Medicare funding, aid to state governments to prevent teacher layoffs, state employee layoffs, bonds for infrastructure development, and unemployment benefits. This is what this jobs bill has. And I'll be damned if you know what the pubs took out of this bill. Small Business Administration funding, Medicaid funding, aid to state governments for teachers and state layoffs, bonds for infrastructure development. They took all of those out. And they filibustered for a year to try to get the unemployment benefits extension out. Did you fucking hear me? Do you know that whole campaign season they went over small business, small business, small business? It's the heart and soul of America. It's the heart and soul of America. Small business, small business. They went over the percentages. This percentage of small business runs America. This percentage of this. And guess what they voted out of the fucking bill? Small Business Administration funding. Do you believe these fucking people? Joe the fucking plumber. They asked him the question about the small business. I want to be a small business owner. Small business. What are you going to do for small business? Apparently, the GOP, Joe, is going to take it out of the bill because they don't like small business. Because they just took it out of the bill. They stripped it out. They stripped out Small Business Administration funding. They stripped out Medicare funding. They stripped out aid to the state governments. And they stripped out bonds for infrastructure development. Do you hear that? But there's so much for small government. Small government. There's so much for small business. They are for small business. They are pro small business. They love small business. I just don't understand why they took it out. The only thing that passed was unemployment benefits, which they fought tooth and nail to take that out. The party of no says no to every fucking thing.
Yeah. It's live from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Horse Hooray!
What's lacking? You lacking? I'm packing. Money stacking. What's lacking? You lacking? I'm packing. Money stacking. What's lacking? You lacking? I'm packing. Money stacking. What's lacking? You lacking? I'm packing, money stacking.